Hello, chess fans. Welcome to another episode of Chess Chat, a program brought to you live from the Rollstone Bank and Trust studio at Fitchburg Access Television. I am George Marajanian, Program Director of the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University. This club, the second oldest chess club in Massachusetts, meets every Wednesday evening from 6:30 to 10:30 in rooms 163 and 165 of the McKay Complex at the university. And with me for this 213th episode of Chess Chat is our award-winning director, Darren Dame of Fitchburg, recipient of FATV's prestigious Boulder Award in 2009, and now in his 20th consecutive year as director of Chess Chat. And assisting Darren in the control room and also on the set with camera work is fellow resident and longtime Wachusett Chess Club member Brian Bigelow. And sitting across from me is my longtime associate, trusty colleague, my co-host, Dave Kuchar, now a resident of Northampton, Massachusetts, formerly a longtime resident of the town of Westminster. And Dave is a very talented guy in the world of chess. In addition to being a very active match and tournament player, he is the creator of the Wachusett Chess Club website. He is a certified tournament director with the U.S. Chess Federation. He is a chess writer. He's actually written books titled Progressive Tactics, also one called Don't Play Like Me. He's also a very active chess photographer. He's taken hundreds of photos of chess players at the Wachusett Chess Club and elsewhere. And again, he's a man of all activities in chess. Dave Kuchar, welcome to Chess Chat. Good always to see you.
Good to see you, George. Well,
Dave, before we get into tonight's program, I want to actually give our viewers a little brief update as far as on this program we did last month on the candidates tournament.
Oh, that's right.
Now, the candidates tournament was the FIDE FIDE Candidates Tournament being held in Cyprus.
Yeah.
That tournament ends in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just played the round 12 of a 14-round event, a double round robin. And as I speak to you now on this episode, the leader of that tournament right now in this 8-player 14-round event is Grandmaster Javahir Sandarov of Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
He stands with 9 points out of 12 games played with two rounds left. 2 points behind him is Grandmaster Anish Giri of the Netherlands. Yeah. Now all Javahir Sandarov needs is a draw will clinch it.
One draw, yeah.
Right. The only chance that Anish Giri has in being a champion, Sandarov would have to lose his remaining 2 games, and Giri would have to win his remaining 2 games, which would force a playoff.
Right.
That's highly unlikely.
Very highly unlikely.
So I think we can say with certainty,
near
certainty, that the winner of the 2026 FIDE Candidates Tournament is going to be Grandmaster Javahir Sandarov of Uzbekistan. So I want our Chess Chat fans to know that.
Which is a disappointment to
the
our
two American
fans,
because the 2 heavy favorites, the 2 highest-rated players in the Candidates Tournament, were Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana and Hikaru Nakamura.
Right.
And they were considered the heavy favorites.
Yeah. But like we said on our show, I mean, Sandarov was like the 3rd.
Yes, as far as rating-wise.
Yeah, and I think he was given like a 20% chance to win. So it's not like he was totally out of nowhere.
Right, exactly. So that's an update as far as the FIDE Candidates Tournament, which ends again in 2 days from now.
And so he's got Sandarov has to be the favorite, I think, coming up for the match. Because Sandarov, I think, is now number 5 in the world.
That's his ranking now.
Yeah, but the actual world champion has dropped down to like number 19 or something.
The current world champion is Grandmaster Gukesh Domaraju of India, and his world ranking is actually, he's in the top 20.
Yeah.
But
barely,
but he's further down.
Yeah.
So I would say the Sindarov, by winning the candidates, it has to be the favorite to become the champion in the world title match. But as far as today's episode that we're going to present to our Chess Chat fans, less than 2 months ago, Dave, we had a death of a world famous player who was actually number 2 at one time. He was the number 2 ranked player in the world.
Yeah.
He was actually one of the leading players in for a period from the late 1970s until the early 1990s. And that was Grandmaster Jan Timman of the Netherlands.
Yeah.
He died at the age of 74 on February 18, 2026. And again, he was actually one of the world's top players back at least for 2 decades.
Yeah.
He was right there. And again, he became an international master in 1971, and then 3 years later, in 1974, he was awarded the Grandmaster title by FIDE, which is the acronym, the French acronym for the World Chess Federation, which stands for the Fédération Internationale des Échecs. So he rose quickly in the ranks of chess back in the 70s. And we got some photos. Actually, Darren has some photos of Jan Timman. Let's see actually what the first photo, we have probably a photo of a young Jan Timman. This is actually, I think, was taken in 1967, I think Darren said. Was it 67?
Yeah.
When he was like 16 years old?
Yep.
So, again, this is 4 years before he became an international master. Now we have another photo of Jan Timman. What is the year of this? This is actually taken in the 70s, sometime in the 70s. This is probably after he became, in 1979, was it? But this is after he became a grandmaster, I'm sure, in 1974. Now, what's interesting about the year 1974, when he became a grandmaster, a few months after the World Chess Federation awarded him the title, he came to the United States, Jan Timman, with his fellow countryman, Hans Böhm, and they played in the 1974 U.S. Open in New York City.
Okay.
And that is where I met Jan Timman. I happened to go to the 1974 U.S. Open, not as a player, but as a delegate from Massachusetts for the U.S. Chess Federation. Okay. I was the USCF delegate from Massachusetts, but I was also the regional vice president, New England regional vice president. So I met Jan Timman, and I met Hans Böhm, and I listened on a conversation they were having. I was introduced to him by the tournament director, George Koltanowski. So I said, you don't mind if I listen on your conversation? It was all in Dutch. Now, I did not know Dutch, but I knew it was Dutch because I had studied German, and I knew that the difference between
one of the few
German
languages you don't know, right?
Yeah, it's one of the few languages I don't know. Anyways, so I had the opportunity to meet Jan Timman actually in 1974 at the U.S. Open. Now, do we have other photos of Jan Timman that we can show our Chess Chat fans as we continue? Okay, so this is actually a later photo. I don't know what year this is, but this is another photo, 84. Oh, so 84, this is actually 84, but let's go 1 year. Okay, 1 year after this photo was taken, 84, Jan Timman played a match, exhibition match, against the newly crowned world champion, Garry Kasparov. Garry Kasparov of the Soviet Union, although he was born in Baku, Azerbaijan, born of a Jewish father and an Armenian mother. And by the way, that's why his name is Kasparov. He wasn't born Kasparov. He was born with the name Weinstein. He was born Garik Weinstein. That was actually his father's name. But after his father died in an accident in Russia, the Russian authorities, the Russian Chess Federation said, no, we're going to have you change your name. You're not going to be a Weinstein playing for the Soviet Union. So they adopted, they Russified his mother's Armenian name, which is Kasparyan, and made it Kasparov. So that's why Garry Kasparov is known as Garry Kasparov instead of Garry Weinstein. All right, so, but as I say, that photo that Darren showed of 84 was taken a year before he played a match with Gary Kasparov. Now, again, we have some other photos. Let's have some other photos of Jan Timman. Okay, now this is a photo of Jan Timman playing. He's on the right. That's Gary Kasparov. That's Jan Timman on the right. But on the left, is that not Anatoly Karpov?
Yes.
Now, Anatoly Karpov became world champion in 1975.
Right.
Now, do you know why Anatoly Karpov became world champion in 1975?
Right, because Fischer declined to play him.
Bobby Fischer, who beat Boris Spassky in 1972, 3 years later, in 75, was supposed to defend his title against a challenger who happened to be, as a result of candidates tournaments, Anatoly Karpov.
Right.
Fischer declined to play a title match.
It's a long story, right? Because Fischer had certain demands.
Yes.
And they weren't willing to meet all of his demands.
Yes, and because he refused to defend his title, the World Chess Federation awarded the title to Anatoly Karpov. And he held the title from 1975 until he was defeated by Gary Kasparov in 1985.
Right.
And that match ended in November 1985.
Okay.
Now, 1 month after that world title match was played, Jan Timman played Gary Kasparov in an exhibition match in the Netherlands, in Hilversum, Netherlands. It was played actually at a radio broadcasting company studio in Hilversum, Holland.
Yep.
And that's the game we're going to present to our Chess Chat viewers. We took actually one of Jan Timman's best games in his career, and we're going to show it to our Chess Chat viewers right now. Now, Jan Timman had white in the game. This is game 3 of a match that he played against Kasparov. It was played on December 17, 1985. Yeah.
Okay. I think it was a 6-game.
It was a 6-game match. Kasparov won the match.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this game 3, Timman won the game.
Won the game, yes.
Lost the match.
Yeah.
But this was actually Kasparov's first loss as a world champion. It's rather significant that Timman inflicted the first loss on the recently crowned world champion. So we're going to present it to our Chess Chat fans right now. And Timman opened his game against Kasparov with what move?
With E4.
Okay. We have presented that probably scores of times.
Scores of times.
We've lost count. We actually have no count, but we played it many times. All right. So Kasparov, in response to that, plays his pawn on E7 to E5. So that's his move in response to Timman's move of E4. All right, there's now Timman's second move. What does he do?
Easily the most common move in this position, knight to F3, attacking the pawn, black pawn on E5. All
right, so we have a threat here. The first, it's the first threat of the game, right? Okay, so that looks like that pawn needs to be defended. Black certainly doesn't want to lose that pawn. And the most logical reply is playing knight on B8 to C6. Knight C6 was Kasparov's reply. Okay. So now actually white has choices here. In fact, our previous program that we did on the candidates, we presented these same opening moves.
Okay.
Yes, we did. Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Take my word for it. In our previous episode of Chess Chat, we played the same opening moves here. The first two moves. Okay. Now, do we present to our viewers what the choices are? Why don't we? What choices does white have?
I guess the biggest choices are you can play bishop to c4, the Italian game.
Known as the Italian game.
So it strikes at the weak f7 pawn.
Yeah, and for our Italian fans, this is also, besides known as the Italian game, it's known as the gioco piano.
Right.
And you know what gioco piano means in Italian?
Quiet game.
Quiet game. Easy,
Is
quiet.
It still the gioco piano, even if if black plays like knight to f6 here?
No, if the response is knight f6, it's known as the two knights defense.
Okay.
But if black would respond to bishop c4
the same way,
bishop c5, this is now the Italian game or gioco piano.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But Okay, so that's one
So
opportunity.
that's one, and I guess
Okay, what else?
this is what, the Scotch game?
Scotch game. This is known as the Scotch game.
That's the other
okay,
big
all right.
one.
How about
some players might just develop the other night.
Okay. Now there's another move. Actually, when we presented our previous episode of Chess Chat, we played the same moves, and one move I failed to mention that could have been played here.
Yep.
And we have one player at the Washington Chess Club who plays this.
Is it this?
Is C3.
Yep.
Now,
That's
this is known as the Ponciani opening.
Okay.
There was a player named Ponciani who adopted this with the idea of supporting the advance of the pawn to D4.
Right.
But you know what chess player at the Washington Chess Club?
It's Don Ostrowski, right?
Don Ostrowski, right.
And I don't know if I've ever seen anyone other than Don play this in this position.
Don Ostrowski is the only player I know at the Washington Chess Club at Fitchburg State University.
It's a very rare, but,
it's a very rare,
but it has an idea, which is to support pushing D4.
So that's also a good alternative.
Right.
But as you say, Don Ostrowski is the only one we know at the club that plays this.
Right.
All right. So what Timman played on his third move was something that we saw in the previous episode.
Yeah, also very common is, right, bishop to B.
B5.
Yes.
Okay. Now this has a name now because we've played the bishop to B.
Right?
Okay. What is this?
Has two names.
Actually, yes, right. It has two names. What are the name? Well, give me one name.
Yeah. Spanish is one.
Most of the world knows this as the Spanish opening. Actually, the English-speaking world knows this as the Ruy Lopez, the Ruy Lopez opening, because it was named after a 16th century Spanish priest by the name of Ruy Lopez, who lived in the province of Segura. He was Ruy Lopez de Segura. Now, he didn't invent this opening. Ruy Lopez didn't invent it. He wrote a book that was published in 1561 in which he recommended, after the first two moves of white and black, that the bishop should be brought out to B5, not to C4, as we see in the Italian game. He said this is the best move to play on a move 3 in this opening.
Yep.
And that name was attached. His name was attached to the opening, although he did not invent it.
Right.
He just advocated.
Right.
He's a big supporter of this. All right.
And this for years at the top level was probably the most common.
You know who actually, in fact, the world champion, many world champions played this.
Sure.
Foremost among them was Bobby Fischer. Bobby Fischer would always play this when he played when the game opened up with E4, E5.
Yeah.
Yes.
But not nowadays. This has become perhaps even more common.
Now you're seeing Bishop C4 more popular than Bishop B5. Okay. So after the Bishop B5 attacks the knight, what Kasparov did was put the question to the bishop by attacking the bishop with pawn to A6. So we now attack the bishop, and white has to make a choice.
Right.
Do we take the knight? Do we capture the knight on C6? Or do we retreat?
Right.
And what did Timman decide to do?
Most players do retreat, so bishop to A4.
Yeah, bishop A4. Okay. All right. So actually now Kasparov continues with his piece development and plays the knight to F6, which now attacks the pawn on E4.
Yep.
Okay, that was move 4. How does Jan Timman continue in this position? What does he do?
Again, I think this is the most common move, which is to castle.
Right. So actually, some players would say, well, wait, the pawn is under attack. Don't I have to protect the pawn?
Yeah.
But no.
I think we've covered this before, which is if black were to take, then the rook comes over here, and it's hitting both the knight and the pawn.
White's going to get the pawn back.
It's going to get the pawn back.
Yeah,
so
right. There's no way of taking the pawn E4 and holding on to it. Black has to give back that pawn.
Yeah.
So that's why after Timman castled, Kasparov just continued with developing pieces, and he plays his bishop on F8 to E7. Now he could have played actually possibly there.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. All right. So bishop E7 was actually Kasparov's move. It's now move 6 for Jan Timman. What does he do on move 6?
So now I think there actually is a threat because the bishop is blocking the file.
Right, exactly, right.
So
all right, so
rook to E1 to develop the rook and protect the pawn.
Okay. Now here is where Kasparov decides, instead of castling immediately, he plays B5 and attacks the bishop, leaving white only one move. There's only one move for white, is to save that bishop.
Right, so he pulls it back to b3.
Okay. All right. So here again, black still can castle immediately if you wanted to,
Sure, yeah.
but chooses, no, first, let us actually play the pawn up to d6 and add a further defense of the pawn on e5. Okay.
And open up for that bishop to develop.
But actually, black now has a threat. By playing the pawn to d6, adding further defensive here, he has a threat of actually eliminating this light squared bishop by playing this knight on the next move over here, attack the bishop, and the bishop has nowhere to go without it having been exchanged. There's no square it can go to without it being exchanged. So that is actually black's threat in this position. Here's the position right here. After d6. So what does white do to prevent that bishop from being exchanged for the knight?
So he plays c3.
Right.
So that gives an escape square for the bishop.
Right.
But it also helps, again, to support the d4 push.
Okay, so it has a dual purpose. But it does save the bishop from being exchanged, because black has that opportunity if that c3 had not been played. All right, so now we have the c3. So now Kasparov says, okay, now I'll castle. So that's what he did on move 8. It is now Timman's 9th move. What does he do? And why does he do it? Make the move and tell me why he did it.
So he plays h3. And
Yes.
I think part of the reason is to prevent this bishop from coming here and pinning the knight.
Right. That by playing h3, it prevents, the bishop coming to g4 and pinning the knight, which would be very uncomfortable having that pin.
And also, if he decides later, as part of an attack, he can now also push this pawn.
Yes,
because it's protected.
Right. So h3 is a very good defensive move to stop the pin. Okay. All right. So because this bishop has really no meaningful movement along this diagonal, he decided to play bishop b7. Kasparov's move is bishop b7 on move 9. Okay. So it is now Timman's 10th move. What does he do?
Now he does play d4.
Yes, because c3 supports that, right? c4 supported the advantage of d4. Okay. All right. So Kasparov realizes, this rook on f8 has no future staying here. It needs actually to get on a better file. So he plays the rook over to e8, which also allows this bishop to actually to redeploy over here. It vacates that square for the bishop to go to f8. So that was Kasparov's move, rook 8 on move 10. It is now Timman's 11th move. What does he do?
So it's a fairly aggressive move. It's the knight goes to g5. Now there's a threat for the bishop to take here check and win the rook.
So wait a minute. So that's a major threat here. With the double attack on this pawn on f7. So Kasparov says, "Whoa, well, I guess rook e8 actually doesn't work for me." So he's like, "I have to go back and defend that pawn on f7 by playing the rook back to f8." So that's what he does. Rook goes back to f8 was his response on move 11. All right. So that was so now it is Timman's next move. What does he do?
So part of playing rook to f8 is we can say it's almost like a draw offer in a way, because Timman
goes back.
Decides
knight f3, right? So actually it does look like a draw. Right. Now the thing is, here's what happened. For example, let us say, for example, Kasparov said, "No, I want to go back. I'm going to go back."
He does go back, doesn't he?
He goes back again.
He does go back.
Yes, he goes back. He goes back.
He does go back.
He goes back.
Now it's a real draw offer, because I think at this point, if Timman wanted to draw, he could just go here and claim a draw. I think this would be the.
Well, it would have to be, but it had to be a 3-4. It had to be 3 times. It would have to happen 3 times.
But now Kasparov could just move back, and it would be a draw.
Then he could claim a draw.
Then he could claim a draw.
Yeah. So by going back and renewing the threat, so after playing rook e8, which Kasparov did, Timman says, I don't want to repeat moves, which allowing Kasparov to claim a draw.
Right, and I guess part of it is I think this was just an exhibition match.
Exhibition, right.
So it's like, you don't want to just have a game that's a draw right out of the opening. I mean, it's sort of.
So Kasparov says, no, we're not going to repeat.
Timman it's up
Timman said. Yeah, Timman said no. We're not going to.
yeah, so he decides, all right, so I'm going to play something else.
So he played knight
Knight B
bd2.
to D2.
Okay, that was his 13th move.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so now we're continuing here with Kasparov now playing on his 13th move. Now he brings his bishop back to f8. Okay.
Right, just like you said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like I said he is possible, which actually has further defense on the pawn on e5. That pawn on e5 is defended well, three times. The knight on c6, the pawn on d6, and the rook on e8. So it's three times, and it's only attacked twice.
Right.
With the knight on f3 and the pawn on d4. Okay, it is now Timman's 14th move. What does he do? What does he do now on move 14? Which is rather interesting.
Interesting means we don't understand.
We don't. Yes, you and I do not understand
yeah,
A3.
I'm not sure.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like a wait. It's almost like a waiting move. He's actually not committing himself to anything. Normally, a lot of players I know in this position, instead of playing A3, might have actually considered playing no. Well,
one thing would be you could just pull the knight back to allow the bishop to
But
develop.
that doesn't. But however, that doesn't work because this knight was protecting his pawn on e4.
Yep.
So it's too early.
Yep.
So this is actually yes. So that's premature to bring the knight from d2 to f1.
But a lot of other possibilities, like he could have exchanged,
Or even advance the pawn,
pushed.
attack the knight.
Yeah.
Right. So, but a3 is basically a waiting move to see what black responds. Okay. So here is where Kasparov on move 14 plays h6. Now, why did you think he played h6? Do you think he played that because he did not? Oh no, he's also waiting. Yeah. Now, if this knight were not here,
Right.
but it's here because it has to protect here. But
wait. Yeah, this did. Yeah. So this.
Yeah.
This actually didn't have to be protected because by doing this, the rook was still.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's right.
Anyway.
Okay. All right. That's right. Okay. Anyways,
It's okay.
so he played h6. Okay. It is now Timman's 15th move. What does he do now? Okay. Move 15 for white.
So more repositioning.
Repositioning.
Yeah.
Okay. A further defender of the pawn on e4 for one thing.
Defender of the pawn.
Okay. So now here is where this is rather interesting. This is a redeployment by Kasparov now on move 15.
Yeah.
This knight here comes back to where it came from to b8. Knight b8. It looks like he's going to redeploy it maybe to this square.
Right.
Yeah. Adding, defending this pawn e5 again, but from this square instead of c6. Okay.
Yeah.
So knight b8 was actually Kasparov's 15th move. It is now Timman's 16th move. What does he do on move 16?
So now that the bishop's out of the way, it allows him to play b4, gaining space on the queen side.
Okay.
So now he's covering both of those squares.
All right. So b4 is what he played. All right. So as I say, Kasparov now by playing the knight to b8 now redeploys that knight, this knight on b8, now to d7.
Yep.
So that was his move on move 16. All right. How does Timman continue on move 17?
So he develops the bishop to b2.
But it looks like he's back actually biting on granite.
Yeah,
He's blocked by.
I guess he's just anticipating this diagonal opening up at some point. Right now
exactly.
it doesn't seem very useful. But
No, right now it doesn't. Okay. All right. So here is where Kasparov on move 17 plays the pawn to g6. Okay, g6 vacates the g7 square.
Yeah.
For no doubt to redeploy his bishop f8 to g7 to fianchetto his dark squared bishop. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to play g6 if the plan is not to play the bishop to g7. All right, so what did...
So, and also we can say by his playing a bishop on g7, he's also anticipating that this could open up at some point.
He wants to counter this fianchetto because actually white is fianchettoed on his dark squared and,
Yep.
Okay, all right. So anyways, it is now Timman's 18th move. What does he do?
So it's the first. So finally decides to possibly break things open by opposing the pawn on b5.
Okay, so c4 attacks that pawn. Here is where Kasparov on his move 18 makes a capture. He doesn't capture here this way. He's not taking b takes c4. He's playing e, the e pawn on e5, e takes d4. So he captures this square. That's his move. On move 18, Now, what does Timman do in response to Kasparov's e takes d4? Does he take back? I mean, he could take back here.
Could take back with the knight.
Knight, or with the
take
bishop.
back with the bishop.
But he doesn't do that. He does not recapture the pawn on d4.
No.
Yeah. Instead, he captures.
Pawn on b5.
C takes b5.
So now there's this half-open
Right.
file pointing at this pawn.
And of course, actually, he's won a pawn. Oh no, he's not won a pawn.
No.
But it was just a capture.
Yep.
And what actually Kasparov does is recapture. A takes b5, so he just recaptures. So, but now he's wait a minute, a pawn ahead, is he not?
Momentarily. Yeah.
Momentarily, now it's actually
Until
Timman. I'm sorry, it's Timman.
Timman
Now
grabs the pawn on
all right.
d4.
Now, all right. So it's so the material is even now. Both two pawns are off on each side. All right. Here is where Kasparov now on his move 20 plays c6. So he actually plays the pawn up here. The bishop is defending the pawn on c6. Okay. Now, rather interesting, he does that.
Yeah.
But what else does he do? Yeah, because actually, he probably does this to allow for an exit
Developing the
to
queen, yeah.
because with this pawn staying on c6, this queen has limited scope here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah.
All right, so this actually further. Well, no, actually, no, it was a threat. Actually, he had to do it.
Yeah.
Knight was attacking, threatening to win the pawn on b5.
Yes.
House. Yes,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very simple. This was forced because it was forced to defend the pawn on b5.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
Simple as that. All right, so now what does Timman do on move 21? It's his move.
So he plays a4.
Okay, but now
Attacking
he has
the
a
pawn.
threat. Timman now is attacking this pawn on b5 twice.
Yep.
With the knight, the pawn on a4, and the knight.
Yep.
So now there is a definite threat here of winning this pawn, winning two pawns actually, with the double attack. All right, so after a4, Kasparov has no choice but to capture this pawn on a4 with the d pawn. B takes a4 was his move. All right, so that's recapture. Now, Timman wants to recapture that pawn on a4, but how does he do it? Does he do it with the bishop on c2, or does he do it with the rook on a4? Which one does he do it?
He does it with the bishop.
He does it with the bishop.
And now again,
And has renewed the threat, a double attack on the pawn on c6 with the knight and the bishop.
Yep.
So that looks like this pawn on c6 has to be defended again. And black can do that. Kasparov can do it by playing the queen to b6 and have the queen now help in the defense of the pawn.
Simultaneously attack this
now
pawn.
black has the threat of threatening to win this pawn on b4.
Yeah.
All right, so how does Timman respond to that? It's his 23rd move coming up. He wants to hold on to this pawn on b4. On move 23, what does he do?
So he pulls the knight back to defend it.
Okay, so now the knight is defending the pawn on b4.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so Kasparov realized, okay, well, he doesn't see any future for this queen remaining on this diagonal. Some players would. Some players actually would stay this, but maybe they would not like to face actually being attacked. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's a threat, by the way. Oh, actually, white actually has a threat by playing the knight here, attack here.
Right.
And actually, this would be a double
we
attack.
can show it, yeah.
And it would win the pawn
Right,
with the
that'd be
queen
two-
and the knight.
right.
So
Oh, would it? Well, because if he pulls back, now he's got two defenders.
Oh, I'm sorry.
also.
No, that's
Yeah.
right. No, there is no threat because the bishop on f8 is protected. So, all right. So, but Kasparov realized, okay, I'll just redeploy the queen back to c7.
Yep.
And that's what he did. Yeah, I got to pay attention here, right? Okay. All right, it's now Timman's 24th move. How does he continue?
So bishop back to b3. Now this
Yes.
file is open.
Right, yeah.
He's hitting again. Once
Okay.
again, that weak pawn.
Yeah, this is a much better diagonal to be on with the bishop on
Yep.
b3 along this a2 to g8 diagonal is a much better diagonal to be on. All right, so what Kasparov does on move 24, well, he could exchange queens, but
Rooks, yep.
I'm sorry, rooks. I'm
Yep.
sorry, but he decides, okay, let us play the bishop to a6 and block this exchange of rooks
Yep.
on the a file. So that's what he did on move 24. It is now Timman's 25th move. How does he continue here?
So he plays his rook to c1.
Okay.
And this, so he's on the same file as the queen, as
Right.
this pawn.
Exactly. Right.
So
Okay.
now there's definitely,
Yes.
threats of,
Oh yes.
going
In fact,
here
that actually would be the threat of playing the knight up
Yep.
this, with a double attack on the pawn on c6.
Yeah.
So that is the threat. After rook c1, white does have a threat of knight d4. All right. But here is where Kasparov now plays bishop g7. He now.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yes, bishop g7, move 25. He has now fianchettoed his dark square bishop and challenging Timman along the long diagonal here. Okay, it is now Timman's 26th move. How does he continue? Move 26.
So he does open this file, but he does it differently by playing the knight to e3.
Okay, all right. So knight e3. And actually, well, yeah, okay. It's a better move, yes, right. But yeah, he blocks blocks this attack. He opens up the attack on this pawn on c6. Okay, it is now Kasparov's move. What does he play? He plays bishop to b5. Am I correct? Okay, bishop b5. Okay. Oh, all right. Okay, seems logical. A good move. All right, it is now Timman's 27th move. How does he continue?
So he plays knight d5, I believe. Yeah.
Attacks the queen.
Attacks the queen.
Also, yes, right.
And the knight, and also we should note that this is impossible because the queen is pinned.
The pin, it's pinned. Now again, this is a double attack on this knight here, but this is defended properly two ways.
Yep.
The bishop and the knight. So the major threat is attacking the queen. So okay, so what are the choices? Does Kasparov move the queen, or does he exchange the knight that is attacking him? And that's what he does. Instead of moving the queen, he decides, okay, I'm just going to take the knight on d5. Knight takes d5 is Kasparov's 27th move. Now, what does Timman do in response to that? First of all, he may have no choice because because this bishop is now under attack here, and nothing is defending it. So I think Timman is forced now to exchange bishops,
right?
Because it's undefended. Yep. So bishop takes g7, and what Kasparov does is recapture that bishop on g7 with the king. King takes g7, the bishop there on move 28. All right, it's now Timman's 29th move coming up.
Now,
right, so now
he recaptures.
Now he captures. Okay, so now he takes d5. Okay, all right. Okay, so now although this is a very uncomfortable position for this queen to be in.
Yeah.
But what Kasparov does, he plays the knight to e5. Do I have this correct?
Yep.
Knight e5. Adding further defense of this pawn here. Okay. So what does actually Timman do on move 30? Yes, move 30 coming up. What does he do?
So one thing we can point out is now there is this threat.
Oh yes.
To come in here
forking the two rooks. Yes.
Forking the two rooks.
Right. Oh, so how do we stop that? Can we stop that?
Well, I mean, one obvious thing is you simply move the rook there.
Right.
That's a possibility.
That's one way. Yeah. Okay. But instead,
what he ends up doing is knight to e4.
Right. That's really interesting. This has to be a critical point in the game here, right here, where now Kasparov, after Timman plays knight e4, this is where Kasparov now, I don't know how long he spent on this move, maybe, but he actually had to look at all the possibilities, but he decided to go in with knight d3. The bishop is now defending that knight on d3, but the knight is now forking two rooks and threatening to win one of those rooks. Right.
Yeah, and I can point out that there's actually, this is actually...
what? This is move 30 for black. Kasparov.
Oh, yeah. So right here...
Yes.
Timman makes what you could call a blunder. I don't know if anybody saw this in the pre-computer age, but
this is
but by playing queen to d2,
yes.
there's actually a winning line
for
black here, but it's so involved that I don't.
No.
So it's so involved that even
Kasparov, the world champion,
did not even missed it. But
right. Yeah. But a computer years later would see it. All right, and so he missed it.
So
and Timman played.
So here we can say that the starting move,
right.
The combination that would have actually won the game would have been queen here.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I honestly don't remember.
Okay, so it's a very convoluted, very
how it plays out after this.
Okay,
so it was playing this first and then taking a rook afterward, but it's very involved.
Oh
so
wow!
I don't think anybody could really fault Kasparov for missing it or for Timman to play supposedly a blunder.
So so instead of doing that, instead of playing the move you pointed out, that play Queen E7, which computers came up with, Kasparov in the game he played the rook here on A8 to A. He played here.
Yeah.
Now the rook is now attacking the undefended bishop here.
Yes.
The knight is attacking two rooks here.
Yeah.
So that's what Kasparov played on move 31. So how did Timman continue here in this very complicated position here?
Right. I mean, I think this is pretty impressive because, I mean, you might look at it and think, well, Timman must be lost, right? I mean, he's got two rooks attacked, he's got a bishop attacked.
It's going to lose material for White. White is going to lose material here.
And what he does, I would not have seen this. Plays knight to f6.
Yes, this is incredible. This is an incredible move that Timman played. Knight f6 attacks the rook.
Attacks the rook.
But again, nothing is defending that.
Right.
That actually would allow the.
So the king could just go and take it. And I guess, and then the question.
However, nothing is protecting this rook. So if the king takes it, this rook would be able to take here.
Yes.
So that's why what Kasparov decided to do was okay. I'm not going to have you win this rook. I'm going to exchange it with rook takes e1 check. And that's what Kasparov did. He's on move 32?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, of course, that's check. It's now check.
Right.
And Timman only has one move here. Rook takes e1.
Well, yes.
He's not going to take it with the queen, lose the queen.
I suppose he could, but that would be silly.
No, it's silly, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah.
So rook takes e1 was Timman's move.
Yep.
Now Kasparov could take the knight on f6.
But we'll see what's coming.
So king takes f6 is what Kasparov did. Now, how is material here?
So he's down. White is down a knight.
Right, right.
So he has a rook and a bishop. He's got a rook, a bishop, and a knight. So
and I'm looking at the pawn situation also, because we actually see we have five. It's five. Okay, so pawns are equal.
So he's got an extra knight.
Extra knight. He's got an extra knight. So he's okay. So he's knight ahead.
But here's what's coming now. The queen's going to get into the game.
Ooh, check.
Queen to c3.
Okay, so with this check, he doesn't. Well,
I don't think he really has much of a choice.
He's got to block. He's going to have to block the check.
Does he have any? The only other moves he's got would be to come forward by doing this or this, and in which case. Yeah, he does that. These pawns are coming forward.
Yes, they would. So he would get. Yeah, this is not
checkmated.
No, he decided. Okay, no. Also, it momentarily saves the knight right now because remember the queen was starting to. No, it can't.
It's not.
It's not. No, because the bishop.
Yep.
No, he decides. Okay, let's bring the knight back.
He really has to.
Yeah. So he blocks the check from the queen by playing knight e5. Okay.
So now the thing
what does Timman do now?
It's pinned. So now Timman can regain the piece by attacking it, and he can't move.
All right, because of the pin. Okay. All right, so this is rather awkward for Kasparov now. He realizes he's going to lose this knight on e5. So he decides, okay, I'm going to get material. I have to gain some material here back.
Right.
So he plays bishop a4.
But he's missing something. So this is the losing move, really.
This is the losing move.
Right. He really needed to just give up the knight. Bring the king back.
Retreat, hide.
Yep.
So this is the blunder.
This is a blunder, but we're going to see what he misses in a moment.
So he should have brought the king back and hide back here, but instead he plays bishop A4,
Yeah.
double attack on the bishop on B3.
Right, so that looks good.
It looks very good.
Looks
and this,
good.
Yeah, this looks good. But now Timman plays what on move 36?
I'm sure Kasparov saw this. Obviously
There's a check.
recapturing the knight, yeah.
Right, exactly.
But it's what's going to come next.
Right. And he can't retreat now. I mean, can't retreat. This would be the worst place to.
Right.
He can't go here. This would be the worst move.
Right.
Because this would allow the E takes D6 check,
with the
discover
queen,
check,
yep,
and the queen would be lost. So he has no choice but
he takes back.
So he has to take back. This is forced.
Yes.
I mean, D takes E5, which he did. Okay.
But here comes
a great move.
Right, this is the move that Kasparov probably missed.
This is the move that Kasparov overlooked.
Yeah, I shouldn't reach for it. I should have told the viewers to pause. But
Yeah.
anyway, D6.
Check.
Right.
No, not check.
It's not check.
No, he's attacking the queen. He's not. Yeah. All right. So now, what does actually? First of all, this pawn on D6 is going to force the queen to take here, is it not? Because he can't retreat because this queen was protecting this pawn along with the king.
Yeah.
But so Kasparov has no choice. But queen takes D6 is what he did.
Right.
That's his move on move 37.
Yeah.
So how does actually Timman now continue?
Whoops. Yeah, I should stop touching the pieces and let the.
Okay, yeah, right. Let's start. Let's. Darren, our director, has the
He has the position on the board. He already showed the move. That's okay.
All right, fine. Okay, let's make the move. The
Queen
move
to
he
F3.
shows, Queen F3 check. Okay.
And now the thing is, after the king moves, the bishop and the queen are both going to be hitting that F7 pawn.
Now let us show before we show the next move. We're on the board right now.
Yeah.
Let's stay on the board and show our viewers what would happen if Kasparov had gone with the king up to G5. His only move coming up like this.
Yeah.
If he had gone to here, what would happen? He would lose the game. How? By this move. No, we're not going to give our viewers any time. We're going to show them how Timman would have won.
Yeah.
H4 check.
Check.
He's now forced to take that pawn.
Take the pawn. Yeah.
Right there.
He takes the pawn. Yeah.
And now, do you see now a checkmate immediately?
Yeah. So then it.
Rook E4 is an immediate check.
No, not quite. It's then.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, right. Yes, the only move he had was King G5. Okay.
G5.
Okay. And now we actually have we're gonna
Almost.
We're gonna have this here. Check this way.
Yeah.
Yep. And the king would be forced here, and then the queen would go here, and that would be made.
Checkmate,
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if we can get back to the position we want, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so the queen was checked here. That's here, right? This is it.
Yeah.
Okay, so with this queen F3 check, Kasparov only has going back. He went back to he went to E7, right? Yes,
Yep.
E7. Okay, it is now Timman's 39th move. What does he do here?
Now again, like I said, since the bishop and the queen are both hitting F7, it's pretty obvious. He just takes on F7 check.
Okay, all right, and he only actually has only one square.
One square.
The only square. King D8 is the only square that Kasparov has, and that's what he plays on move 39.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So now maybe can we actually show this position now?
Sure.
Let's not play move 40 for Timman yet. We want to show this position to our viewers and give them time to look at this position and see if they can come up.
Maybe do a shot of the board, the actual board too.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, if we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got the board and also the position with a diagram there.
Yeah.
Now we're going to give our viewers time to look. This is
We have plenty of time. So
okay. All right. So have we given them enough time?
I think enough time.
Okay.
Sure.
So let's execute the move that Timman played, his 40th move in this game against Kasparov.
It's rook to D1.
Okay.
So it's this queen can't move off
Can't
the
take
file.
can't take the rook because it would lose itself to the bishop, for one thing.
Right.
Okay. So the move. So what Kasparov decided to do is actually play the rook to A1. That's what Kasparov did, because the queen cannot take this because this rook is pinned.
The rook can't take because it's pinned.
So he says, I got to give up my rook. He's thinking, okay, against beginners, some beginners would say, oh, well, yeah, you give me the rook. But no, the idea is Kasparov wants to offer a little cheapo, but experienced players don't fall for this. So after Rook A1, all right, now let's go back to the board again and also the position and see if our Chess Chat fans can see the move that Timman played that forced Kasparov's immediate resignation. Let's put, we're on the board. There is the position, a diagram.
Oh, there it is.
There it
you
is.
showed the move. That's
okay, so the move has been played?
Yeah, on the
Not yet.
screen. No, it was on the screen.
Oh, it's on the screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's okay. That's
okay, let's play the move that Timman won. And what did he do?
Queen F6 check.
And that forced actually Kasparov's designation. Why? I mean,
well, because he's in check.
He's in check.
The queen can't take because it's pinned.
And wherever he moves to the king to get that check, where say he moves actually even let's put it here.
Even if he sure.
Yeah, anywhere he goes.
Say he defends it.
Let's say he defends it.
You know, the queen just comes here.
Check.
Again, check.
Right.
So he's lost the queen.
He's also he's going to lose the rook.
He's going to lose the rook.
He's going to lose material galore. So, and that's what happened in the game.
Yep.
And again, as I think I pointed out, maybe I did point it out. This match that Timman played against Kasparov, a month, it was less than a month, or a little more than a month after Kasparov became world champion in 1985, beating Anatoly Karpov. This was the first loss that Kasparov suffered as world champion when he played this match. And again, he didn't have to play this match. This was just strictly an exhibition match. Did he accept it? He accepted the match, and lost it. But again, he went on to win the match. Kasparov won the match. Right. But again, this was rather significant. This was his first loss after becoming world champion.
Yeah.
Now, what else can we say about Jan Timman? Let me repeat, if I've not already said it, that Jan Timman played a world championship match against Anatoly Karpov in 1993.
I mean, the circumstances were complicated because Kasparov and Nigel Short had decided to go out on their own, form their own organization.
Yes, they actually departed. They departed from the World Chess Federation, the FIDE, and set up their own professional chess players
PCA,
association.
Right. Yeah.
So they actually, they set up their own association.
So FIDE basically said, "To hell with you. We're still going to do a championship, and so we're going to." It was going to be Karpov against Timman. I can't remember how. I don't remember how they determined it. If they just said they were the last two in the previous candidates, and so they just said those two will play.
Now, before our show went on the air, you had pointed out to me that actually in Timman's obituary, Timman died on February 18, 2026. I don't know whether you can call up. Can you call up? Can you call up? Actually, you said there was a quote. Actually,
there was a quote.
There was a quote from Timman.
I just thought it was kind of funny.
No, but I think it was rather interesting to read this quote that appeared. Now I don't know if this was in the New York Times. New York Times ran a full obituary.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah. So this might have actually appeared.
This is the one that was written by I think Peter Doggers.
Peter Doggers wrote this obituary.
Is he Dutch?
Dutch. Yeah.
He's Dutch. So he's one of his countrymen.
Right. So. So, anyways, this was an obituary, and they used this quote from
like it was like 1971. It was before, I guess it was before, or what Timman's talking about is what happened before his first major tournament.
Yes.
And
one of his major tournaments was in Montreal. He played in Montreal.
Okay.
It could have been the tournament in '71.
Okay.
But you say this was actually a quote from.
Well, it's a quote. He was just recalling. What happened, and he must have been talking about discipline, and he said discipline can also have its drawbacks. He said in the period leading up to this tournament. He said I had withdrawn together with my bosom friend Hans Bohm.
Hans Bohm. Yes, right.
Hans Bohm.
Yeah.
Into a small house in the countryside of the Dutch province of Frisia. I wanted to be in optimal form at the start of my first big tournament. He said, we live like health freaks, no alcohol, no narcotics, and tough physical training, as Botvinnik had prescribed, so former world champion.
Yes.
And he said it didn't work at all. Frankly speaking, that was no surprise. He says, after all, Botvinnik had never been a pub crawler in his day. And he says, and if you are one, then you cannot change into a man of discipline from one day to the next. And he said, I went on to lose my first 5 games. It wasn't even very dramatic. Those defeats against giants like Vasily Smyslov, Paul Keres, Svezar
Gligoric, Svezar Gligoric, of Yugoslavia.
He said, nevertheless, I decided to make a U-turn.
Yeah.
My nights were full of alcohol abuse again, and this had a positive effect on my play. Without this pressure to perform, things went much better, and I gained 6.5 points in my next 8 games. Unfortunately, I lost again in the final 2 rounds. And I just thought it was funny where, just the fact that one person's advice, something that worked for him,
right?
He gives us advice to the rest of the world. Well, it doesn't necessarily work for other people, right?
Right.
As he says, if you're not used to that kind of life and you decide I'm just going to switch to a whole different lifestyle overnight and try to live that way, that may not work for you, and it didn't work for him.
Well, he died at the age of 74, which is,
a lot of years later.
A lot of years later. Now, I want to point out that Jan Timman, here's a photo of older Jan Timman.
Yep.
He was he was champion of the Netherlands 9 times.
Okay, yeah.
But he played for the Netherlands 13 times between 1972 and 2004 in the Olympiad.
Yep.
Every 2 years, the World Chess Federation holds what they call an Olympiad. And he played, and in one of those years, of those 13 times he played for the Dutch team, he won the gold medal. It was 1976. In the 1976 Olympiad, I should have looked up where it was held, he had the best score of all the first board players in that tournament, in that Olympiad, and that was quite an accomplishment, gaining the gold medal. And again, he also, besides being a strong player, super strong player, he was also a journalist and an editor. He was actually one of the chief editors of the magazine New in Chess. Now, you gave me, do you remember you gave me a number of copies of New in Chess. It's one of the leading chess magazines in the world. It's published in the Netherlands. But it's published actually in English. You gave me actually, is there an English?
It's English. It's an English language magazine.
But it's published in the Netherlands.
But
it's really, all the professional chess players, I'm sure, subscribe or get the magazine.
And he's also had a couple of books that were, I think, pretty noted.
He's also an author of several books. Sorry. So again, the chess world has lost one of the world's greatest players. And again, we're going to miss Jan Timman. Okay. So at the time.
Dave been with us?
Oh, thank you, Darren.
Voice from
okay. I want to point out to our chess, and I would be remiss if I did not mention that with this episode of Chess Chat, I'm glad that I was reminded from our very astute Chess Chat director that this episode of Chess Chat, our 213th, is your anniversary, your 10th anniversary.
Which I didn't know until you told me.
You didn't know this, or you forgot about it. But I'm glad I was refreshed about this by Darren. That it was 10 years ago this month, April 2016, that you became actually co-host for Chess Chat.
Right.
Okay. And what happened was actually you became a co-host 2 years before my former co-host, 2 years after, after. No, my former co-host was Martin Lane of Lunenburg. He died in 2014. But actually, in between, after Martin died, I had various guest co-hosts, like Gail Lingner, Bruce Felton, former club champion. But 2 years later, you stepped in and said, hey, I'll be your co-host.
Yeah. So that's not quite how it happened.
No, I probably wrote
the mics are still on, but I had said if you need any help.
Yes.
And I thinking behind the scenes, and you said, how would you like to be the co-host?
I roped you in. By the way, I hope our Chess Chat fans enjoyed the game that you, Dave, and I presented, and we promised to present to our Chess Chat fans a very interesting.
Probably something about the candidates, I would say.
Yes, we could probably do something about the World Candidates Tournament, which we have to assume that Grandmaster Javikir Sindarov has won in Cyprus.
Right.
Stay tuned next time for Chess Chat.